Welcome back to the Alternative Highs podcast, the number one podcast in Southwestern Ontario. Those are facts. Quick PSA, 85% of viewers are not subscribed. So please hit the subscribe button, put a like, leave me a comment, and with that, on with the show. Today's guest was not even on... We weren't on each other's radars up until COVID. And when COVID happened, I was freshly sober. I was running around with no sort of guidance, not knowing what I was going to do with sobriety. And when COVID hit and everything had shut down, I had met Ben. Now, Ben and I'd been trying to run some ideas, and I wanted to do something because I was 305 pounds, somewhere in there. And I was just the heaviest I'd ever been. My spinal cord injury I just started walking fresh. I hadn't even walked more than 500 meters at this point in my life. And I met Ben, and I said I wanted to do better with life. And you took that and ran with that. You gave me life. You put something into me that I just didn't have. We started a 25-day, 100-kilometer challenge. And I remember one of our very first walks. We were in Paxton's Bush, and those ladies passed us. And you and I were both posting about the walk. My original thing was excuses are gone, and I was posting before it became Alternative Highs. That summer, that year alone, you breathed the life into me. We were talking about this. It was over 1,000 kilometers that year I walked. At the end of it, you talked me into doing a half marathon, and you just got away with pushing people to do better things. And it's just, as your friend, it's cool to watch, but like as a guy that actually worked alongside you, like it wasn't anything of what I ever thought coaching was. And I don't know if it was a coaching moment or what it was, but it was a lot of fun what we did that year. And I felt like it woke up a lot of people. And with that, let me introduce Ben Labadie.
Good to be here.
Ben, you've been on you've been in the fitness world for quite some time. Like you were a coach you're back to coaching now, right?
I'm not even sure what I do.
Yeah?
I'm not even sure. It's part coaching, part really demonstrating.
Yeah.
Right.
What did you do with that before though? Because when you started out, I remember when we were first talking, you added your own gym, didn't you?
Yep.
And you just built that into
It was a mixed martial arts gym originally.
Yeah.
Right, and then it just turned into like a boot camp kind of fitness, and at that time it was all about just getting people active the best way you can, making it fun, making it different, giving people an opportunity to kind of better themselves, improve themselves, and do more.
Yeah.
Right, essentially do more, have something to look forward to, and then it turned into marathons and half marathons, and and because even like the 25K in 25 days or 100K in 25 days, there's a goal there, and it's achievable. You just got to kind of every day work towards it, one day at a time, and that turned into just kind of coaching, because everything evolves over a period of time. You start learning what makes people move, right? And generally something creative, something fun, and it's tailored. That was tailored to you, right? That's something that you could do. Now, you didn't know you could do it,
no,
right? But I knew you could do it, and just with a little push, a little community support, you can do so much, especially with a team. When you build the team out, it's hard to do things on your own. It's one of the most difficult things. But when you have a team and you can build other people around, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it to show others they can do it. So every day that you do this podcast, every day that you go to the gym, you show other people that they can do it. That's where the impact is, right? And they feel they have somebody, right? And that's what can help so many other people be successful. It's not just coaching; it's being there and demonstrating and
I was
being a
gonna
part of
say
it.
you doing it right alongside of everybody's pretty cool.
Well, it's easier to show up, and I even tell my clients now, is like, I'll show up. You just got to try to be 80%.
Yeah.
If you can do 50 to 80% of showing up when I do, you're going to be successful, right? Especially with the 5K a day idea.
I was gonna say, you've been doing. You're how many days in?
I think I'm 640 consecutive days of completing at least 5K a day. The last day I did not complete a 5K was July 2nd, 2023.
That's wild.
So that was the last day.
And at that point, like, you were probably the unhealthiest of the I had ever seen you.
Yeah, well, after COVID, and you get a little lazy, you eat a little too much, drink a little too much, your exercise gets... When you get into that combination of things where you start eating poorly, you start exercising less, you start being less active, alcohol's the demon of everybody. If you start drinking more when you start getting on that path, right? That's all not good. None of it's good for you, and it all adds up. And then at one point, I think and it's crazy because you come from the background of fitness, right? And I've been doing fitness 10 years before that, right? And then you can still fall back. So everybody can fall back, right? It's every day at a time.
Did more people like ask you because of how fit you always have been? Like, what's going on, Ben?
Well, 100%.
Did it turn into like a shame thing?
No, a lot of it, we see it ourselves. So the main thing for me that I seen was I was at my daughter's graduation. And here's the funny thing is what happens is that I'm putting on clothes for my daughter's graduation, her grade 8 graduation. I'm like, this don't fit. This shirt don't fit. Man, I'm fat.
Yeah.
Holy, I've let myself go. And then I look at the pictures, and I like posting pictures. People don't like I like posting pictures, but I like posting pictures. I'm like looking at them all and like, no. My head looked like a bowling ball. And so that was kind of a wake-up call. The week after, I was in Toronto with my son doing soccer. He was at a soccer tournament, and we went to all-you-can-eat sushi, and I maxed it out. I got my money's worth. And we get back to the hotel room, and I'm like, man, this has got to stop.
Yeah.
I can barely move. So I think it was just after midnight, I said, hey, man, if there's a Planet Fitness around here, do you want to go do it? Because he didn't have to play the next day. And I think it was about 12:30. There was a Planet Fitness about 5 kilometers away from the hotel. We went there. We just got on the bike. Didn't really do much. But that was a start. Okay? That was the first step. Was just walking into the gym, putting around, drove home the next day, did 5K, never stopped.
That's so wild.
So it's
Was that like how did you come to that? Because everything you love running. You how many marathons? How many full marathons?
I've done I think 22 full marathons now.
Sir, will you do any more? You got any left?
Oh yeah. I'm going to be doing some more. There's something to it. I don't know what it is. The pain or whatever, the stupidity of
Because
it.
I think a lot about the run you did when you were like all your feet were beat up. Forget where you were. It was a hot run, and you were way out of the way.
Oh, there was a couple like that. One in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I stupidly wore new shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, she was about a week old, and then the backs of the shoes just dug into my heels, and I was just bleeding all over the place. So I'm carrying my shoes for the last 5 miles on the streets of Ann Arbor, barefoot, bleeding. And then the other one was I was a little bit beat up. It was a night race in Las Vegas marathon, and you're so far out, and then it's a city of lights, and the city of lights because you got one area all lit up, and you can see the Mandalay Bay, the finish line, and I'm way out, and I'm like, that's far distance, and my knee hurts, my legs hurt, everything hurts, my feet, and it was a nightmare. It was like, oh my God. I am not getting closer.
When you're in that moment and you're already kicking the shit out of yourself saying you can't, how are you pushing through to do it? Because you finished that race.
So, yeah, you always finish the race. And the funniest thing is that if you start, the best way to end it is to finish it.
Yeah.
Right? You still have to get to the finish line.
Yep.
Right? And in that race specifically, it was kind of funny because, out of I think 44,000 people. And this is kind of funny when you do marathons and you're not that good like I am. And you go to your family and they're like, how did you do? How did you do? And I was like, well, around 44,000th. It's never a good sound. But I think I was sixth last that day. And I remember this one guy, there's a bus that picks you up. So on the Las Vegas Strip, you have to be there in a certain amount of time, or else the scooper bus picks you up. And the scooper bus is behind me, and there's this little probably about, I think he was about a 4.5 foot, 75-year-old guy in front of me that I'm trying to catch. And he's just waddling away, and I just couldn't catch him. He's telling the bus, "You'll never get to me. You'll never." And I'm like, "Am I going to get scooped up by the bus before that guy does?" And then I sped up a little bit. That gave me the energy to move forward. But back to when did you know that you were kind of getting out of shape? Do people shame you? People look at you different. When you're in shape, when you get in shape, there's something about you. People they treat you different. Mm-hmm. Okay? Everybody
100%.
That's been in shape and then has kind of lost it and then got back in shape, you can tell people look at you different, they act different towards you, every which way. You're just treated differently when you're in shape versus when you are out of shape. Mm-hmm. And it's completely different. And then you can start seeing, nobody says it because that's rude.
Yeah.
Right? It's never okay for some reason to say, hey, you're out of shape. It's okay to encourage you to be out of shape, though.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay to say, eat more, do less, all that. But it should be the other way. Like if people do love you and you love yourself, you want people to say, hey man, you got to do something.
Yeah, man.
Right? But we've got to the place where, because most people are out of shape, that we don't say it. Mm-hmm. Right? Because we think it's hurting their feelings. But you got to be truthful with people. And you need more, people are truthful with their eyes and how they act.
Yeah.
Right? And when you recognize that, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Right? But you do see a lot of people do 100% treat you differently, especially when you were a trainer. Now, if you're a trainer like I was, and then people say, well, what kind of trainer is this guy?
Yeah.
This fatty coming up here, looking at me like that. You can tell in their eyes, and some of them, some people, the people that like you and dislike you.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, so you still training? It's like, I'm not training. Look at me. Do I look like a guy that's training every day? But they'll throw that in for their own personal amusement, and you can see that and you feel that. But in general, you do recognize when people act differently towards you, especially when you have the knowledge of how people treated you when you were in shape versus out of shape.
I can 100%.
Yeah, like you'll get it. I'll get it. And anybody that goes to the gym and then falls off, and there's so many of us that are like that. And I'm a testimony of it. Been in shape, got out of shape, got in shape, got out of shape. My brother's like, he tells me, Ben, what you got to do is you got to get fat again. People give you so much credit for losing weight that you got to show them how you gain it now, and then do it again, right? And it's always funny because you go through these phases, and everybody does. And so anybody that is in their out of shape phase, know that they got to know that they can take steps to get back in shape. And it's a perfectly normal thing happening.
Could you do that while continuing your 5 kilometers a day? Yeah,
you can. So when you do 5 kilometers a day and you get your cardio so good, you get a resting heart rate like sitting. So if I'm going to sit down and be at the computer and do some work or whatever, I'll have a resting heart rate around 40 to 42, right? And you're really hibernating. Like you're not burning a lot of calories that way. It's almost like my pickup truck or whatever. it's not that efficient right now. Hasn't been taken care of that well.
Okay.
All right. So it's not going to be as fuel efficient, right? It's going to burn energy a lot.
Yep.
But if you tune it up and you get it more efficient and you get everything oiled up and perfect, it's going to be more fuel efficient. The more efficient you are, the easier it is to gain weight.
Oh.
Okay, so if I have a resting heart rate that's really, really low and I'm conserving energy very, very well, the diet becomes more and more important, right? So people, when they say, oh, I've been working out and I plateaued, I can't lose anymore. Well, because your body got so efficient at saving energy and conserving energy, and running and walking and working out is not as much for you compared to when you were out of shape. That was hard. Mm-hmm. So when you start and it's like, oh my God, everything's so hard,
Yeah.
right? And then it becomes easy. Well, that's because your body's getting better at it. It's more efficient. So you can actually still gain weight, when you're still doing 5K a day and when you're still working out, if you don't watch the diet really well.
It's that's the hardest part, is the nutrition aspect of fitness. Anyways, it's been for me.
Well, it's hard in so many ways because you live in a society where it's okay, right? If everybody has enough money to do cocaine and everybody has cocaine, there's no cocaine problem,
Yeah.
right? And in our society, our cocaine is bad food,
Yep.
our food choices, and everybody is selling it to you, and nobody is against selling it to you. So you have nobody protecting you, and everybody that's actually even close to you will say, well, you work out all the time, you're doing this, you're doing that, treat yourself, right? And it's no different than when, people want to eat better. They want to be healthier, and we make it so hard for them. Now,
Yep.
if there's an alcoholic, all right, and every day is going to be a challenge to stay away from alcohol. Every single day, all right? It's a challenge. They go out, they go to a bar, they're being with friends, they're at social events. Every day is a challenge. And it's no different than with food. But in our society, it would be a little bit crazy to say, well, I know you're an alcoholic, but why don't you just have one beer, right? Because we know what one beer can do. We know what one bit of alcohol can do. But we have no problem saying one slice of cake. One slice, one bite of the stuff that's harming you. Why don't you just have one little bit of crack? Why don't you do a little meth?
Yeah.
And that is our meth. That is our alcohol. And it's just socially acceptable for anybody around you, your coworker, your best friend, your family member, to say, hey, have a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Knowing that you've just told them that's what you're trying to avoid. Right? It's
I know this feeling.
It's the most bizarre thing in the world. But it happens every day, and sometimes it's harmless. You talk to your grandma, your mom, oh, I made you these cookies. It's made with love, and it's given it to you through love, and there's no harm there. And then you've got the people that are intentionally trying to derail you. And you can see how they look and what they're doing in their own lives. Mm-hmm. All right? And they don't want you to be successful. Right? So how do we derail that?
Yeah.
Right? Eat this. It's been damaging me. It'll damage you.
Yeah.
Right? So we live in a society where it's okay, and we all have an eating problem. If we didn't have an eating problem, that hospital right over there would not be full. Okay? We'd have a healthy society.
Yeah.
But no, most of the stuff and most of the reasons people end up in a hospital, people end up sick, all self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Even you and I. We know most of the stuff and our problems are self-inflicted, right? But we can take steps every single day to be healthier, happier, and live better.
It's the mini steps to get into there that people have a really tough time thinking that it's making any change, and if they just do this one little thing, it's easy to retract.
Well, what I do, and this is why it's a hard sell, okay? There's two things. If I told you, hey, you're going to look slim, you're going to look great, and this is what's going to happen. You're going to look awesome. Mm-hmm. People around you are going to look at you and say, great. That's an easy sell. But, hey, you're going to be healthy. It's a hard sell. Mm-hmm. And that's why programs like mine and the coaching I do is so difficult. if you if you did 60 minutes of exercise every single day for the year, do you think you're going to be healthier or unhealthier?
No, healthier.
You would think,
Yeah.
okay? And that's just logical,
Yep.
right? But people associate exercise with weight loss and how they look, all right? And what I try to get people to do is think about your lungs, your heart, your brain, your happiness. All these things change when you exercise, when you eat healthier. Your whole mindset changes. And it's every day. It's no different than anything. It's a challenge every day, and you have to just not quit for one more day every day. And if they started walking, and this is why I do the 5K a day, and this is why I'm the demonstrator of it, it's because it's so simple. If it's cold, I walk inside on a treadmill. If it's hot, I walk inside on a treadmill. If it's nice outside, I run. If I feel good, I run. But I can accomplish 5K in an hour every day, either walking or running, depending how I feel. You don't have to run it. You can walk it slow.
Yeah.
But you can do it, right? Everybody can get 60 minutes of exercise in some way. And if you just get used to that idea, you don't have to worry about weight loss or how you look. And if you focus on how your heart feels, how your body feels, how your mind feels, that's where the success is. The body will come.
Yep.
The body comes in time. But people want to lose weight now. They want to lose weight, and they'll do anything to do the weight loss now. But the weight loss doesn't matter. If it really mattered, they'd eat better and work out. And generally, when you want to lose weight, and I ask people, okay, how about this? What happens tomorrow? If you wake up and you're in shape, everything's perfect. What happens? What can you do that you couldn't do today?
Yeah.
Right? And most people don't have an answer. Now, if you could be healthier, right, that takes time. And it's so hard to kind of unwrap and forget everything that you're told and sold every single day and try to get people to focus on their health and being around for the people that they care about, right? So if you love your kids, take care of yourself. If you love your family, take care of yourself. No different than being on the plane, putting the mask on so you can help others. The only way that you can be the best for everybody else is being the best version of yourself. And in order to do that, you have to work on yourself every single day in some way to be healthier and happier.
Yeah. That was real good.
So,
Man, that was really good. It's for people that are trying to get into it, it's hard. And I mean, I get people ask me, I'm not a coach, but I get people that'll ask me that are 100 pounds overweight that just they think, oh, I want to build muscle right away, start lifting heavy. It's trying to explain to people what you're saying, to just start with 5 kilometers a day, 3 to 5 kilometers a day. That'll be the best thing for you. People don't understand that it could be dangerous jumping right into strength training.
Yeah. I think you're wrong. I think you are a coach. You don't know it. The reason that is because you're consistent. You do this podcast consistently. You go to the gym consistently. You demonstrate every day that you're a coach, and you probably don't know it, but the people that watch you every single day are coached by you, right? They're like, this guy keeps on showing up. Just imagine if I showed up. And it's a matter of how you get to step one. To me, it doesn't matter how you get started, as long as you start and then you're willing to fine tune. When people go into, I want to lift this much and run this much, and they go a little crazy, like the beginning of every year, it's very hard. It's very, very difficult to do. So you end up quitting. You know, on day 3, man, I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
And this is part of the 5K a day program, is that I know what one day off does to me.
Yeah.
Right? I know what one day does. It turns into a month, turns into a year, right? And then I'm back to fat Ben.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't mind using the word fat. I'll use fat all day long because that's how you feel.
Yeah.
It's 100% how you feel. And fat's not a fun way to feel.
No.
That's exactly how one feels when they're out of shape and they're looking in the mirror and they see how people are reacting to them, like, man, I'm just not feeling good. But it's how do we get people just to start small? And it's so difficult when people see my program is I show up for you every day and ask you to show up for yourself. That's it.
Yep.
It does not matter how hard the workout is. It's the fact that you showed up, that you did something every single day, and the coaching is I'm there with you, right? And a lot of it's mindset. It's a lot of talking and walking. Walk the talk the walk, all that. But if you can get people to start, and that's what you do unknowingly, and that's kind of what I do unknowingly, is people see that you're still doing it, that you haven't quit, that you haven't given up. You know, they see so many of their friends on Facebook and Instagram. They're like, I'm starting today. This is week 1 done. And then they disappear.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? And then everybody gets the idea that if I start, I'm going to quit too.
Yeah.
And even in their own past experiences, they've started and quit. They don't invest in themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't need a big investment. You need to go for a little walk. Go for a step, like that day 1 for me, when I told you that I put around the gym. I went and got on the bike and just put around the gym.
Yep.
I really didn't do nothing, but I took the step.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how big the step is, how strong the step is. It's a step in that direction.
Yeah.
That's all you want to do is keep on going in that direction.
I like that.
Sometimes you fall off the road, right?
Yeah.
You hit the gravel,
Yeah.
right? But, you try to correct it and get back on. But if you can keep on moving forward in some way, you'll get closer to that goal. And that goal should be the next day.
I like that.
Right? If you make your goal is just not quitting for one more day.
Yeah.
Don't quit.
I like that a lot.
One more day. One step,
Just
one
one
day,
more day.
1 pound. That's all it is. You just got to keep on moving one step at a time.
I like that.
If you do that, you'll be successful in anything that you want to do.
I
Not
was going to say, it's almost
Yeah.
inevitable if you stay consistent.
Listen, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a stockbroker, if you want to be the most fit person, if you want to run marathons, you show up every day and you can accomplish all that. You want to work on a business that you want to get started, show up every day. All right? We don't know when the success hits, but we do know that every day that you continue is a successful day.
100%.
Right?
You dropped a lot of great knowledge there. I got a question, and like this is hypothetically speaking, you still run in the Ward 6? How's
I'm
that
still
going?
doing the running in the Ward 6.
Yeah?
Yeah. We had our first 2 days. The first day, I had one person show up with me.
Yeah?
Yesterday was our day 2, and I was solo. And that's okay.
Yeah.
The fun thing about these type, and I created an awesome project online where you can track every street.
Yep.
Right? When you're somebody like me and you do a lot of projects, right, it takes a while to buy in.
Yep.
Right? Like, this guy's doing something stupid again. And people, it's hard for them to get involved. It's hard to get involved in anything fitness related. When I did the ghost tours,
Yeah.
I was doing those ghost tours, people showed up,
100%.
right?
Those pictures were wild.
Because it wasn't fitness. It was something else. It was entertainment. It was value other than, fitness. But the goal of the running in Ward 6 is to give somebody a goal of run. Imagine running, like I've ran the streets of Chatham twice. Every street. It's like almost 600 kilometers. And you do one at a time. You cover it. And it is a very cool thing because you're really coloring in a map.
Yeah.
So it's entertaining for me. The ghost tour was entertaining for me. And it was entertaining for others. They didn't even know that they got 5 kilometers of exercise.
Yeah.
They didn't even know, right? And we had walkers, we had runners. Somehow we made it work. So it's all interesting. So I'm doing the running in Ward 6, which is also a play on some people think it's a play on running in an election.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
But no, that's illegal. You can't run and campaign in an election, but there's nothing stopping anybody from running in Ward 6 or any ward.
Yeah.
So it's...
Where are you in Ward 6 now?
What's that? Ward 6 is St. Clair to basically Winter Line and the river to Pioneer.
Okay.
So it's about 115 kilometers if you do every street.
And you're on going into day 3?
Well, I've already did like half of it so far just to kind of get started.
Yeah.
And then the weather kind of got nice. So I was like, oh, we'll start this program earlier. And then it got cold.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, God said, no, man. Not
slow
today.
down.
Let's cool it down.
Yeah.
Slow it down, man.
Got a few days to wait.
But I'm going to still do it. And here's the fun part about it. I'm still going to show up.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if anybody else shows up for the first part. I'm still going to do it. Again, so it's part of my daily routine anyway, right? And if people want to, and this is a fun part, everybody always like, I can't afford to get in shape. Doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
Not only that, if you combine the program I run on Monday and Thursday with the free program somebody else runs on Tuesday at Mud Creek and the free program on Wednesday by the CK Run Group, you got 4 opportunities for free to get out and get active with people. And none of them care if you walk. None of them care if you run. They all care that you get out there and move. And people will still figure out, well, can't do it. But those are the opportunities that exist. And if I continue to give opportunities to other people, great. Some people will eventually take it up. And that one step could change their life. The key part is the one person. No different than this podcast. Some of your views will be a lot, some of them will be little. But if you can impact one person, right, that's your success. Because it's not about the views, it's not about how many people show up. No, that does not matter. It's the people that do and the people that watch that actually get the value from it.
100%.
Right? That's all. And that's all we're doing. So one person, and again, it's a hard sell. Hey, come running with me in Ward 6. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But eventually somebody at home needing to take action in their life for whatever reason. They could be in a dark place. They could be feeling unhealthy. For men, it's a lot of, I don't feel good, man.
Yeah.
That is their sign. That is their sign that they need to do something when they're like, I don't feel good, man.
Yeah.
Something's a little off.
Yeah.
That's, their signal to, I should really take some action here. And everybody has their own way and their own reasons that they may want to start just getting moving. And it's a lot mental. You don't really know it's all mental till you get the physical part, but it's physical, mental, mind, everything. But it's step one. How do you give people the opportunity just to get out there? And it's easy to do. I'm pretty easy to get along with.
Yeah, I can highly recommend. Yeah. Benjamin, this has been an awesome podcast. I loved it. We dropped a lot of knowledge. Appreciate you.
Well, we'll do her again.
Yes, sir.